Hey, what's up? My name is J.M. Chaley and welcome to my channel. This is a kind of a special one-off video. I'm releasing it on a Friday. I usually release my videos on Thursdays. I haven't done a weapon spotlight in a while, and it's overdue. And since I have something else planned for this coming Thursday, I didn't want to bump anything or mess my schedule around. So this is a special kind of extra video that I'm releasing on a Friday. This is kind of a special April 1st weapon spotlight. And the weapon I want to talk about is the yo-yo. The yo-yo is famously an ancient weapon that has been turned into a toy. When the Duncan Toy Company first started manufacturing toy yo-yos in 1929, they did so after acquiring a toy company in the Philippines that was making the same thing. But there was another rumor that said the Duncan Toy Company made the whole thing up. They created some bullshit story about how the yo-yo used to be a weapon just to sell toys. Now, I'm sorry, but have you ever heard of a company just making up bullshit just to sell things? Come on. These deadly objects were originally crafted from sharp metal and lined with shark's teeth around the side. They were extremely deadly, extremely sharp, extremely formidable. The ancient weapon even made its way into China during the 12th century, as seen in several ink paintings we've recovered over the years. Arguably, the weapon was simultaneously created separately, almost equally in function by other cultures. People argue who created it first. Believe me, the arguments go on and on. One popular point of view is that the ancient Greeks actually developed it around the same time, if not before or relatively after the Philippines did it. Of course, they had no contact with one another, just kind of like how many cultures develop on their own: the spear, the bow and arrow, the sword. The yo-yo was no exception. Depicted in ancient Greek culture, we see the yo-yo as a prominent weapon. Even the great general Steve Polychronopoulos once said, "If not for the yo-yo, we would have been defeated." He's speaking of the Greeks here. We would have been soundly defeated by the Thracians. During the Battle of Hastings in 1066, we have records of yo-yos being used in battle. In fact, we have depictions of the yo-yo being shown in the Bayeux Tapestry. Here is an example of a yo-yo being shown to King Edward of the Normans, and he's quite impressed with it, you can tell. Here's another example within the same tapestry, the Bayeux Tapestry, where soldiers, knights, are charging into battle, flailing their yo-yos forward. Very deadly, very effective. During the Middle Ages, we still see the yo-yo continue to be a prominent weapon, even during the War of the Roses, which took place during the 15th century. During the American Revolutionary War, we saw officers wielding yo-yos, flailing them about as they charged into battle, leading the troops. During the Civil War within the United States, we saw the yo-yo being used by both the North and the South as brother was being pitted against brother. As warfare became more modernized, we see a dip in the reliance on the yo-yo. During World War I, trench warfare became the staple of battle, and it was difficult to come out of your trench and hit someone with a yo-yo. Here we see a French soldier within a trench carrying his yo-yo, but it was really more of a secondary weapon. During World War II, the gap only grew wider. Here we see a soldier wielding a yo-yo from within his foxhole. Still very effective, but the range was limited. This was the principal reason for the decline of the yo-yo in warfare. You can only make strings so long. Your range was only going to be as long as the string was, and the rate of fire compared to automatic weapons just couldn't keep up. In the 1950s, the US experimented with automatic yo-yo cannons, but they were very clunky, they broke down a lot, and they were just pretty shitty. And again, the rate of fire increased, but the strings would break, and the strings really weren't even long enough to get that far. You'd only be able to hit an enemy who was maybe 3 or 4 feet away from you. the reign of the yo-yo came to an end as they just couldn't keep up with modern technology. And toy companies like the Duncan Toy Company kept pushing them towards more of a child-friendly version where they became more considered a toy rather than a weapon. And today, that's all a yo-yo is. Try to go to a weapon store or a armory or any kind of store that sells guns, ammo, or any kind of weapons. You're not going to find a weaponized yo-yo anymore. They're just out of favor. Your best luck for finding a yo-yo now is in the toy store. I don't know how to use one of these. So that about wraps it up. Yo-yos, the unsung great weapon of the age of antiquity, of the medieval time. We have seen nations fall in the wake of yo-yos. We have seen borders change and shift as countries rise and fall under the merciless assault of the yo-yo for anyone within 2 to 3 feet away from one. Devastating. Absolutely. If you like this video, please give it a like. And as always, please subscribe. I post every Thursday, even though this is a Friday. You can also read the first chapter of my book, A Flower in Hell, on jmchailey.com. Check it out. It's not a bad read. Anyways, I will see you next time. Thanks for watching.